My name is Reema. I live in a small town in India. Ever since I was young, I loved to watch English movies and listen to English songs. I wanted to speak English fluently and confidently, just like the people I saw on TV. But in real life, I was too shy to speak. At school, I always avoided reading aloud in English class. My hands would sweat. My voice would shake. And my heart would beat fast. I worried that others would laugh at my pronunciation or grammar. So I stayed quiet. I felt stuck. I wanted to speak, but I was afraid. My dream was to study abroad or work at a company where people spoke English. But that dream felt far away. One day, our teacher gave us a surprise activity. We had to speak for 1 minute about ourselves in English. I panicked. When it was my turn, I stood up. But no words came out. Everyone waited. Then, I sat down in silence. That night, I cried. I didn't want to feel like this anymore. I promised myself, I will change. I will learn how to speak English fluently and confidently, no matter how long it takes. The next day, I searched online for how to speak English fluently and confidently. I found many videos, articles, and apps. Some looked confusing, but one video said something simple. Speak every day, even if you're alone. So I tried it. I stood in front of a mirror and said, "Hello. My name is Reema. I want to speak English." It felt strange at first, but I kept going. I talked about my day, my family, my favorite food. Slowly, I felt more comfortable. I also started watching short English videos with subtitles. I listened carefully and repeated what I heard. I didn't worry about mistakes. I focused on learning. At night, I wrote a few sentences in English in my notebook. Simple things like, today I walked to the market, or, I cooked rice for lunch. It wasn't perfect. But it was practice. After 1 week, I noticed something. I could think in English a little faster. I didn't freeze when I tried to speak. It was a small change. But it made me smile. After a month, I felt ready to try speaking with someone else. I joined an online English group for beginners. The first time I spoke, my voice was low. And I made many mistakes. But the group was kind. They encouraged me. I started speaking with one girl from the group every day. We talked for 5 minutes at first. Then 10. Then more. We corrected each other's grammar. But we never laughed or judged. At the same time, I began reading simple English stories out loud every morning. This helped me learn new words and say them with better pronunciation. I also recorded my voice and listened to myself. Sometimes I laughed at my own mistakes. But I learned from them. I stopped being afraid of grammar. I focused on communication. If I didn't know a word, I used a simple one. If I forgot something, I smiled and continued. Step by step, my fear started to disappear. I felt proud. I was not fluent yet. But I was growing. I was becoming confident. 6 months passed. One day, I got a call from my uncle in Mumbai. He asked me to help a tourist find his hotel. The tourist only spoke English. My uncle said, "Reema, can you speak to him?" My heart jumped. But I said, "Yes." Give him the phone. When I spoke, I was clear. I gave directions, asked questions, and answered politely. The tourist thanked me and said, "Your English is very good." I couldn't believe it. My uncle clapped and said, "Reema, that was amazing." That evening, I looked at the mirror again. I remembered the girl who couldn't say one sentence in class. Now, I could speak to a stranger with no fear. I smiled and whispered, I did it. I wasn't perfect. But I didn't need to be. I was confident. And that made all the difference. Now I speak English every day. I still make mistakes. I still learn new words. But I am not afraid anymore. I share my story with others who feel shy or nervous like I did. I tell them, you can do it. Start small. Speak every day. Don't be afraid of mistakes. They are your teachers. If you want to learn how to speak English fluently and confidently, remember my story. You don't need a big school or expensive classes. You just need time. Practice. And belief in yourself. The journey is not easy. But it is worth it. Every word you speak brings you closer to your dream. You are not alone. And if I can do it, so can you. Vocabulary highlights. For beginners. Fluently. Smoothly and easily. Confidently. With courage and belief. Pronunciation. The way a word is spoken. Grammar. The rules of a language. Beginner. Someone who is just starting. Mirror. Glass that shows your reflection. Mistake. Something wrong or incorrect. Encouraged. Gave support or confidence. Stranger. Someone you do not know. Journey. A long process or trip. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to Till's Fluency for more stories that help you learn English step by step. Tell us in the comments. What is one small step you will take today to speak English more confidently?